kind of distinguishes that from Book of Life.
Mm-hmm.
Coco does really embrace what it is what it is, and I feel like Book of Life is just kind of like that movie that somebody thought it was a good idea to use this as, use Dia de los Muertos in particular as like something to use as a backdrop for this movie. Which it's just, to me, the Book of Life is more of a love story more than teaching me about the Day of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually a movie that's like teaching people about Day of the Dead.
Book of Life would probably be more enjoyable if you saw Coco first.
Yes, I do agree.
What did you guys think about the overall story?
Oh, I hated it.
What do you take away from it?
Take away?
Yeah. Like, what do you remember from? Okay, you just watched it again.
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah. What do I take away from it? Honestly, it's the darkness of it. That fucking murder in a Pixar stands out to me so much more. But it's the, I guess it is the family thing. I mean, all the uncles and aunts, like in the afterlife, it really is, if you do have or experience that part, like, of your Mexican family, like, they do just kind of take you. You're the family. It's not like, oh, this is my, like, second cousin. Like, your cousin.
It's like, oh, your cousin.
Yeah. Like when they're looking for him, like, that's my grandson. Like, I gotta find him. Or that's my nephew. So I like that, the family. Like, I guess the family unit. I can't talk right now. Yeah, no, that's what it is. It shows how strong they are together instead of, separate. Yeah, so that's what I took from it. Like, it's the family unit, how important that is.
That's great. They, I loved how they show the family as being traditionalists.
Yeah.
Where they want you as the kid to carry on their legacy. In this case, it was making shoes because of they thought that the musician great grandfather had fucking abandoned the family, and they relate that tragedy to fuck all music. You know what I mean? And they were like, let's do something completely different, and then so they turn into shoemakers. But then Miguel comes, generational wise, he has this calling to music. You know what I mean? And in his case, he has to go on this adventure, and he thinks for a long time that Ernesto de la Cruz is his great grandfather, and that he needs to have this like embracement from him. And then of course we find out that it's Hector all along.
Yeah. Which, if a lot of people don't know, is actually shoemaking and shoe repairing is still prominent in Mexico.
It's common, yeah.
It's still a thing.
Like, they make good shoes.
Yeah.
Like, you spend a lot of money for those boots.
Yeah.
You're going to get them fixed.
Yeah.
It's not like cheapy Yeezys.
From what I read, going down there and them doing their research, they kind of molded the movie based on their actual personal experiences going down there. So their original film kind of adapted around what they were going through.
Disney's always been good at that. Because I remember when The Lion King came out and how they just flooded the San Diego Zoo with their artists, and they stood in front of it and they're just like constantly sketching the lions, constantly sketching all the animals, the giraffes. Like I'm not comparing animals to Mexicans, but I'm saying they get involved into the film where they want to do it right.
Yeah.
Down to like the smallest animator, they want to make sure it's perfect.
They definitely invest their time properly.
Yeah, they do their research.
Yeah,
artistically, and then now it looks like culture too, which is awesome.
What I love about this film is there's multiple layers to it.
Yeah,
like I feel like it's about borders too. Essentially, and how that can be a painful thing.
Yeah,
being separated from your family, whether it's in life or death, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it plays a major role.
Yeah.
And in the current state of America, it's relevant, especially right now.
Super relevant.
Especially,
I guess.
Did you guys hear about what the president decided to do? We should get into that.
On the.
What, like use rappers for his campaign or some shit?
No. So, obviously, we all know here, November 1st is Dia de los Muertos, right? And I guess Trump a couple days ago, he declared that same day as a mourning day for Americans who were murdered by immigrants, by aliens. That's a real thing.
Disrespectful. So he wants a day for that? Is that what I heard?
No, like that. He did that. He made November 1st a holiday to mourn. Shit. Yeah, to mourn Americans that have been killed by.
Like he understands. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just throw that at people. Let's do that.
Yeah, he obviously knew. He obviously knew what the holiday, like what day the holiday fell on, and he chose to do it right before the election, which is fucking odd. But
no, it's not
self-sabotaging.
It's not self-sabotaging. You're talking about it. You're saying his name. It's what they want. All politicians.
He is a character.
And let's see, that day probably shares 8 other national holidays. Mm-hmm. Once he's gone, next year it's going to be forgotten. It's a stunt.
50,
and
50,
us giving credit to it just gives it power. It's talking about it. Ignore the fucker. Right. He's going to be gone. Whether it's another 4 years or another week.
Somebody, they go away.
Sometimes silence isn't the answer either.
No, but it's also you're giving someone who praises and loves the attention.
Yeah.
Point.
So it's I understand like you have to stand up at a certain point, but he's doing it to get a rise out of people.
It's sad because I feel like at this point nobody was even really like remotely shocked by that. They were just like, oh, that's pretty on brand for this guy. Like, I wouldn't put it past him, you know. And that's sad that he's normalized this cringy behavior from the White House. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so bizarre.
But then also, like, a lot of people are fed up with the stuff that he's promised and then didn't fall through on. So, I mean,
him saying a comment like that makes them like, oh, he's still there. A lot of stuff's not going to get passed. It's not going to get made.
Yeah.
So it's just he's causing attention when he needs people to look at him. It's what he does, and he does it well. And which other politicians are trying to do, but they can't do it nearly as well yet.
Well, because they're robots and he's a character.
It's exactly what it is. But then again, rewind 200 years, 230 years, where they used to yell at each other the way he does now. Politicians did that in Independence Hall. Like, this shit isn't new. That's like what was new was the fact that everyone placates you, thinks they're you this one way and they're not. He's showing you his true colors. Mm-hmm. Like, and you hate him for it, which is good. You should. You're showing who he is. But I just, like, if we stop retweeting everything he tweets, that's going to hurt him more than anything else. You ignore the person who's throwing a tantrum. You don't give them a cookie. That's what we talk about movies and watch movies to escape reality.
Yeah.
It took me the second time to watch COCO to realize that's the fucking grandmother's name. I'm sure I realized it the first time, but I was like, I hate when they do that. You're gonna name it something after the main character. I have him call
the whole time, right?
Yeah, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
Did you guys know the working title?
Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Was it really?
But in Spanish. So when Disney went to try to trademark that, they got fucking, of course, slammed.
Yeah.
And they retreated. They're like, no, it's because we were going to call this project this. And of course, nobody believed it. But
did you know Gene Simmons trademarked the Moneybag logo?
No.
So he went to Monopoly and goes, hey, I want a Kiss Monopoly set. And they're like, no one wants to buy that. We're not going to do that. He goes, okay, well, I own the trademark for that. So you either pay me or you make the Monopoly set.
Oh, shit.
One day he just thought, did anyone own this? He filed for it and got it.
That's hilarious. That he set them up to be like, so that when they say no he's like, well, really?
Yeah. Apparently, Gene Simmons is like a genius businessman.
Oh yeah, trust me, they have kiss coffins, dude.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. They kiss condoms, like whatever you name it.
Yeah.
There's a kiss item for it.
But the Disney knows, like, they're smart. They know they need that to sell their toys, to sell all that kind of, because that's where they make their money from. Toys and the theme parks. And that's why they're doing shit right now, because all that shit is closed down. At least out here.
Well, they
Florida's
just filed
rocking.
an injunction for the governor. Mm-hmm. So now they're trying to see if they could reopen.
Yeah.
Soon. I think they opened up
California Adventure for the gift shop and restaurants. You could buy food and souvenirs, but you can't ride the rides.
I did last week. I actually did that last weekend. I went to downtown Disney and just went through there.
How was it? Was it like busy or like a ghost town?
No, not really. It was actually really depressing when I went to, like, the little main space that's in between.
Yeah, I saw you post that.
It was like depressing. There was like 20 people walking around that area, but I mean, it was a little lighter traffic in the downtown Disney area, than usual.
Do you guys remember where they were talking to Jon Favreau, and he was going to direct Magic Kingdom, which was going to be a night at the museum, but at Disneyland Park?
No.
That's before he did Lion King. Like, that was like the thing he was working on.
That would have been actually really fucking cool.
Now's the time to do it. No one's at the fucking park.
Yeah.
Just saying. Disney, step up your game. Quit buying shit. Do some creative new shit.
What would you rate this movie?
9.
9.
I'll say easily a 9.
999. Never mind, dude. I just joke.
It's a good, like I said, this is one of the ones that I was like not really interested in watching, but like I want to watch all Pixar movies. I like Pixar, but I wouldn't rush to the theater. Like Toy Story 10, I'm there. It's like, and this one, Wall-E, I was there. Like certain things, but this one I'm like, oh, I'll wait until later, and I really enjoyed it. I watched it at like home for the first time while I was doing stuff, and it made me stop and sit down. I'm like, oh, I'm invested. So, you said it was an hour and 45? 47? I want to say, like, aren't Toy Stories like around 2 hours, or are they? Or do they just seem long at certain times because of
the first one is an hour 25.
Oh, really?
It's very fast.
That second one seems kind of long.
It's fast, too.
Really?
It's like an hour. I think it might even be shorter than the first one.
It's Randy Newman's song that fucking makes it so long.
What's wrong with Randy Newman?
Take forever.
Yeah, they do. Those depressing parts really slow down the fucking movie in Toy Story. Every time we're like, let's fast forward. Fuck. I don't want to hear what's her name sad story about her child left her behind. God damn.
That song's good.
It's so sad. I know, but it's like I don't want to watch it. Like, this is sad, but it's like a happy sad.
That's true.
Like when he finally sings to his grandma, like it's a happy sad because she recognizes it. So there's a difference between happy sad.
Remembers.
It's not a cheap shot. We're like, this is a cheap shot. Toy Story, very emotional stuff is cheap shots. Except for Toy Story 3, that shit was legit. I thought they were all gonna die.
On the conveyor belt.
Oh my god! I haven't
better.
felt like that since a Holocaust movie. That shit was horrible. It was rough. Yeah. Like, you could compare that to a Holocaust movie. Like, that scene. Because they all look at each other knowing they're going to die.
They prepare.
And the fact that they were able to do that through toys and animation blows my mind.
Yeah.
So, like, Pixar is great. But I'm saying, this is a happy, sad. You're happy crying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's way better than, like, sad, ugly crying. Don't you agree?
I do. Yeah, it's a representation of the holiday. You know what I mean? Which I feel like is... A lot of people think, whoa, it's the Mexican Halloween. And that's not true whatsoever.
It's actually no candy.
Candy, but not for you, for the dead.
Oh, so how do you feel about, like, Hispanics, because they're most of the ones that are doing it, dressing up as, like, Day of the Dead for Halloween?
I mean,
that's been a popular costume the past few years.
I've
noticed.
I will honestly tell you, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of bullshit, to be honest with you.
Huh.
I'm not saying like I'm saying the sugar skull in general.
Yeah.
Towards like, I mean, being dressed up as a sugar skull for Halloween is kind of an